Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we have a Raw review, which is actually the first time that I'm actually recording this and probably going to get it up the day of Raw because I'm a little sick. So I'm home early, so I figured I'd record this and get this up ASAP because normally it's the next day afterwards and I'm always behind. So I like this. So yeah, Raw happened last night or couple hours ago. It's so weird to have this Europe stuff. I don't mind it to a certain extent, but I also feel like it throws me off a little bit. But the show started with John Cena coming down, kind of a similar promo to last week's, just more of like basically just saying that he basically made this crowd do what he wants by having them boo, and he's making them eat out of his palm of his hand, which I definitely think the crowd was a little less harsh on him because of that. Like it felt like they stopped booing him when they thought maybe he might leave in the beginning, and I do like that he called out that kid that was memed to high hell, being like so sad that John Cena was breaking up with him. So I definitely think that was a good little thing there. Then we had Cody come down and just wanting a fight, and John Cena's not wanting a fight. I think I'm liking this build a lot. I definitely think we need to maybe have a little bit of a different go at it next week. I know they're gonna have face to face again, so hopefully Cody starts and then gets interrupted by John Cena. I think that might be a little bit better. It's just like it's not bad to have John Cena to start off the show every time, but like it's gonna get older fast, which maybe it won't. I don't know. We don't have super long until WrestleMania, so there's a good possibility we're just gonna get there and we're gonna have this absolute match. But I did like that John Cena's whole thing is that he wants to be the last ever champion, or like he's gonna take the belt with him, and then that could actually be low key a cool concept if he beats John Cena, takes the WWE Championship, and holds on to it until he retires, and then they just that title's gone because it's like that one's the undisputed title, right? So like they could come back with like a WWE Championship or like something with a similar name but like have a different lineage. That could be low-key a really cool idea. I don't necessarily am against it. It definitely piqued my interest. I think this would put this in S. It was a great way to start the show, and I did like the added bonus of like what John Cena is becoming, and now his motives are a little bit more clear. And even bringing up the Ric Flair thing about beating his record and stuff, I think is kind of cool. Then we had the tag match, which was ended up being the Usos versus A Town Down Under. I kind of was like, I almost made a video because I was like, oh, there could be so many people that Jay could use here, and like, then I was like, Damian Priest. They could have used Joe Hendry because of being in like Europe and stuff. They could have, uh, like I was thinking like just so many different people. Cody Rhodes would have been a little bit, and like I didn't really, I kind of figured they might use Jimmy because of like Jimmy kind of being inserted into this story now that he talked to Gunther and all that. And I think it's like a good person. There's no other like a bigger critic or person who will tell you the honest truth than your own brother. So I do think it was decent that they added him. The match itself, I thought was pretty decent. Obviously, they kind of been showing like Jay messing up. Like obviously, I think yeah, last week was definitely an accident, and then this week was definitely on purpose to kind of like further that storyline. And I like it. I really do. I didn't put the segment backstage either with Jimmy slapping Gunther and challenging him. I like that segment. I didn't like that Gunther was like literally like 10 feet away from him. It was just kind of weird. Was he just like standing in that hallway listening in? That was a little strange. They should have like drawn it out a little bit longer, like him going for a door and then finding him or something. That would have been a little bit better than him just literally being around the corner. But overall, the segment, the match, everything, I'd put in a solid B. Like to see the Usos together. It's been a year and a half since they tag teamed. It kind of feels a little bit random here, but I think they're building Jay back up to try to get his confidence being like the main event Jay Uso. And I think if that can also get the crowd involved in it, it could really bring that storyline back to being something really good. So we'll see. Then we had the. This is just one of those crazy things, where it's like I don't even know why I'm having to say it. Oh, this keeps hitting off. But it's the El Grande Americano storyline with Chad Gable being in the mask. We all know it's Chad Gable. We all know um, there's a lot that like that the storyline I was not really a big fan of at first, but um I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit more low key invested. Seeing the map with the Gulf of America too is just insane. Uh, I just that's the kind of world we live in now. But I think the little promo, seeing it, I thought it was not that bad. It did feel like they maybe used some AI generated stuff in it. I didn't really care for that as much. It's hard to say because they actually do have the money to make it look nice. So hopefully they did. Um, so it's one of those things. But I think overall, I still kind of liked it. I like this segment. I'd probably put it in A. I think it's a pretty solid spot to put it. Then we had technically, actually, I think this match came before this match, right? Yeah. So I think we had the segment, and then we had the Intercontinental Championship match. Now, a lot of people, like, I'm just in the instant, like, seeing it on Twitter and stuff, people didn't really like this match. I actually thought it was pretty decent. Again, they didn't really have, like, insane ring chemistry. I'm not saying this is, like, the best match I've ever seen. I do think it was a pretty solid match. Raquel looked pretty decent out there with, like, being pretty dominant. I feel like the ending was a little just not it for me, but I think overall I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a decent title defense for not really having like any story behind it, just being a one-off type thing. So I put it in B. I thought it was pretty solid. Then we had Chad Gable being sick, so El Grande Americano had to face Dragon Lee, and he wins by pulling off Dragon Lee's mask, which um, is an interesting way to win. I think the match was cooking really well before that. I definitely think that this could have been match of the night if they let them go a little bit longer and maybe had a little bit of a better ending. It's fine because it works to essentially how Chad Gable's character is and whatever this new character is. I feel like this whole thing would have been a little bit better if they just got rid of the American Made on the mask. I think that's the thing I hate the most because story wise, he got the mask from some mysterious vein, and but why would it have American made on it? Like, was it just a custom mask order that he spent? Like, that's just kind of weird. I wish they would have just got rid of that and just left it like this because it would have been like obviously we know it's Chad Gable, but at least it would have been a little bit more funny if it wasn't just so obvious. I think this match was A. I thought it was really good. I definitely think it could have used a couple more minutes and just a little bit more time to fully cook, and it would have probably been up there. Then we had a couple segments before we get to the actual end of the match. We had the triple threat type thing going on with Io, Bianca, and Rhea. So signing the contract obviously is invalid for Rhea, so there's going to be no triple threat. But instead of fixing anything, what they're going to do is have Io face Rhea for the title next week with Bianca as the special guest referee. I don't know. I don't know what you do there. Obviously, Io wins, and because of Bianca costing her the match, I'm assuming, and that will set up it being a triple threat. I guess I feel like they already could have just been like Rhea demands her rematch. She should have demanded it like the week before, and then Pierce saying, "Well, my hands are kind of tied because of WrestleMania. You could have it afterwards," and then Rhea being like, "No, I challenge." Somebody she could have like had a challenge or something where she has the opportunity and maybe she gets cost again, and then as Io's biggest babyface move just says that Rhea could make it in or something. I don't know. It feels like this is just kind of shoehorned. I like the storyline, but it's starting to get a little bit weird on me. I'm gonna put it in B. We'll see how next week goes and see where it changes. Then we had CM Punk come up. His promo was a little bit more cryptic than anything because he was like, "I didn't get what I want, or did I?" And it's like I don't really even understand logically how that would work, even with his like favor from the wise man and a bunch. I don't know how he would like. I'm assuming he wants a WrestleMania main event, and we know Cody and John Cena is night two, and we were assuming Gunther and Jay are night one because that's kind of the whole Royal Rumble thing. So there's no main event to be done there. So I don't really see that. I guess um, it could be something where like that match is the number one contender for one of the titles afterwards. That would be pretty cool. I could definitely see them being that way. Even if it's not like something official, it feels like that would probably be what happens. I think CM Punk goes on to face either whoever holds whatever title after this. I think he's probably next up to have a big feud, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rollins is the other way, depending on if Roman's coming back full time or at least for a good portion of time, because he could easily come back and have a feud with Jay or Gunther or somebody else. So I definitely think there was some stuff coming from this promo, but it's just so hard when they only have one of the three guys here. I think they'll all be together next to SmackDown, so hopefully it goes a little bit better. I'll put it in B. Then we had last, but certainly not least, is the Intercontinental Championship match. It was Braun Breaker versus Penta. This one was weird because like I thought the match was really really good. I definitely think the DQ ending was kind of crazy because like even if Judgment Day was trying to recruit Penta, why would you cost him the match? Because like he kind of wasn't looking like he was gonna fully lose there. And they could have just done other stuff and distract him. Like the distractions were working. So like it felt like they were gonna cost him. I almost like thought they were gonna pull a huge twist on us and them actually recruiting Braun Breaker instead of Penta, and they were gonna cost Penta the match and like get him DQ'd, and then they obviously DQ him, and then Braun Breaker would be with them, but that's not what they're going. I'm assuming we saw these two then have to try to defend off the Judgment Day, so I think they're going to set up a match, probably Penta and Braun Breaker versus two members of the Judgment Day, maybe next week or the week after, which I'm cool with. That's going to be an absolute banger. I feel like the IC title has been good, but I don't feel like there's any path to WrestleMania unless they go Penta, Braun Breaker again. I don't feel like there's anything that they've done to really bring the title into like an actual storyline. So I think hopefully this is brewing something. I could also see them doing these two plus Finn Balor or Dominic Mysterio, like one of the Judgment Day members, and that could be interesting too. So hopefully something like that happens. I put the match in A. Match was good. I just wish it was a little bit longer, and I wish it had a better ending. But overall, it was a pretty decent show. I probably put the show in like a A minus. I know some of the matches didn't get as much higher, like as high, but I still think they were pretty good. They just had a little bit of parts that I didn't like. But until next time, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.